What's cracking? Welcome back to the channel. Excuse me. New video. So, I'm gonna tell you another story about the treacherous behaviors that go on in prison, things that go on. It's another cautionary tale, and it's very similar to the video I did yesterday. Let me just get into the story. So this is another new Folsom story. I was on C facility at the time. And a guy arrived to C facility. He had been on B facility and went to AdSeg and then went to the whole, and then wound up on our yard. Now, as everyone knows, thanks to Wes Watson, paperwork. When he got to C facility and he was in orientation, he was on Fish Row. He was asked to provide his papers. And what he did is he told the guy that was collecting, he said, "Hey, just so you know, I have an R on my jacket." But the issue was resolved on B yard. Everything, I got cleared for everything, this and this and that. And if the vatos here need to see all the paperwork, I can provide that, right? Now, an R on your jacket means you have a sex offense, sex crime. Unfortunately, and this is something, before I get into the story, this is something you guys need to be aware of and be very cautious of. Public urination can get you a sex crime. You're gonna put an R on your jacket. Mooning people. So all you youngsters that think, it's funny to moon people, you can actually get an R on your jacket. It's indecent exposure. Now, that won't get you hit in the joint as long as people do their homework and say, okay, what is this case behind? What happened with the case? Public urination won't get you hit unless somebody doesn't like you and just says, you know what, you got an R. Forget it. Fuck them. Right? Okay, so that's not what this was. So again, to clarify, I was nobody in prison. At the time, I had some responsibilities that didn't make me anyone. I was no better than anyone else. The guys who were somebodies were all still in Pelican Bay. Okay, so let's make sure that's clear. So the homie in one block sends a weed line and says, "Hey, I need to talk to you guys. There's a guy," but runs us down, and then we go to yard and we talk to him. And so we're like, yeah, we're going to need to see what he was provided, what he provided them to clear him of this. This is serious, right? Now, I want to also tell you, this guy, okay, like I said, he has an R on his jacket. That's bad, okay? While he was on B facility, he had also got drunk and fought with his cellie. He beat his cellie up, right? So these are two offenses that should have him hit. Why wasn't he? This is what's called favoritism in prison. I know for the raza from Southern California, favoritism is frowned upon. No one's better than anyone. The rules apply along the board. When you show favoritism, that creates a lot of dissension. So the fact that this dude had that R, obviously people were whispering about it. And then he put hands on his cellie. You cleared him from that bad paperwork. However you did that, that's on you. But when they put hands on somebody, anybody puts hands on somebody and it's not sanctioned, and he did it because he was drunk. It's clear cut. Got to get hit. For some reason, they didn't do it. So that's where we are, right? On C facility. He's got an R and he has an incel fight. So on C facility, we were looking at him like He's got a steep hill to climb, and he got no climbing equipment in our eyes, right? Like, it's not gonna be good. So I remember getting the paperwork and reviewing it, and I was completely blown away. Completely blown away. I said, how does it? Nothing in it cleared him. So what had happened was, according to the police reports and statements from his own homeboy, he's giving us his own homeboy statements about what happened, the victim statements, cop state, and we were like, what? Like, how does he, like? So what happened was, he had been at a party. He went to a party with his homeboy. Apparently they arrived drunk, or at least this guy was drunk, right? And, oh man, hold on. My light's going crazy, my bad. While they were there, I think they had just arrived, a woman was walking down the street and happened to walk in front of the party, the house that they were in, right? This dude sees her, runs outside, tackles her, and starts trying to rip her clothes off. She was able to fight him off. He's drunk. She was able to fight him off, get out from under him, and take off running. She ran across the street, got like 4 buildings down from where they had been at, and boom, he tackles her again. She fights him off again. She takes off running. He tackles her the 3rd time at a post office. But it's nighttime. Luckily for her, there was security there. The security was able to tackle him, cuff him up. Cops showed up. The statement from his homeboy, the thing that stood out in my mind was how he said he was too fucked up. I knew I should have took him home. His homeboy never said he didn't do it. His homeboy never said she's lying. Remember, her clothes are ripped off her body. And the vato on his weed line was saying it was a crackhead. She was crazy. She was making shit up. And it's like, how come your homeboy didn't say that? So it was pretty clear cut, man. So it took us, I think it was 2 days later. We had everything ready to go. And it was a trip, man. When I look back at it, the arrogance of that individual, because people were asleep at the wheel on the other yard. For some reason, overlooked that paperwork that he provided that basically clearly says he attempted 3 times. The only reason why he didn't get to do it was because of security. And then they overlook a cell fight. Wasn't happening on CR. So he was walking on and I'm watching him. I'm yard crew. I'm watching him, right? I was like, this guy. And so he had a couple homeboys there. There was only one that we knew, like, okay, this dude might actually try to help him, right? And so we did what we were supposed to do. We had a crew. We had 2 shooters assigned to him to follow him with directions. When it goes down, if he takes 1 step in the direction to help his homeboy, take him down. I said, but prior to it, I'm going to call him to me. That way he's not tempted. He won't be near him, right? So I was sitting between the gym door, those that have been on that yard, between the gym door and the restroom, there's a dirt area right there. And I was sitting there on a little crate, right? Bunch of dudes right there. We're chilling. Somebody must have said something, because he was the guy that the target, Mr. R, was on the basketball court. Somebody went over there when I wasn't looking and apparently whispered in somebody's ear, hey, this bottle right here, he's out of here. Because the next thing I know, I look over there and everybody's walking off the basketball court and that guy is by himself. I'm like, shit. And I saw the 2 shooters were posted up at the polo bar. Now, keep in mind, I tell these stories only because everybody involved got caught. So don't think like, damn, everyone got caught. In that yard, nobody did a hit to get away. They took you to the dirt and stayed on you till the cops pulled them off. That's how it was, right? So getting back to the story, I saw the 2 shooters were posted up at the polo bars right next to the basketball court, right? And I'm like, damn, like, why did everybody walk off? So I call that Vato's homeboy. Hey, so, hey, come here real quick, homie. And he's like, oh, all right. And at the time, I had just hit the weekend before. I had just hit a good amount of heroin, right? So I'm selling heroin, and so when I call him over, this guy uses, so right away he's like, hey, homie, I got this watch I want to trade. And it was a nice watch, so I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Don't even trip. And then he like, boom, his spider senses went up. He looked at me. He scanned the yard and he saw his homeboy by himself and 2 dudes. It was only the 2 shooters and the target in that area. He looks back at me, says, nah. I said, what? He said, my homeboy? I said, you know what he's busted for, right? He said, yeah, but I was on B yard with them. They cleared it. I said, didn't get cleared here. And he's like, hey, homie, that ain't right. This and that. And I told him, hey, Holmes, I got people on you though, right? You can't go help him. He said, I'm staying right here. Now let's talk about this watch. So he was more into, I can't help him. Let me get high then. I'll give you this watch right now. Needless to say, prison life continued because we both looked over and the 2 shooters approached him. In his arrogance, he walked up like, what's up? And I remember the first wound that he suffered was right here. One of the Vatos just hit him. Boom. I mean, it sounded like a slap. Imagine, it's getting punched here is bad enough. But he hit him here. And I remember he threw both hands up like this, but it was like he did the turtle. It looked like he tried to suck his head inside of his chest, right? And as I gotta be honest, we all laughed. That's how it was in prison. I don't laugh now. I'm just telling the story. And when that first one, I'll give him this. He got hit 33 times that day. Didn't run. Most don't. Some do. But he got hit 33 times. He's very lucky that I don't know why this happened, but I think it was it's hard to say in a story like this that I could say it was a gift from God, but the knives that I had sent for that job were not what were given to them. Had those knives been used, he would have died, and I probably would have got caught up in the conspiracy. So, And I remember at the time, because what they do is they'll put the yard down. Once the situation's under control, what they do is they will call everybody off the yard except for the group involved. They have to stay. And then security squad comes out, ISU, and they start taking pictures of the crime scene, you know, taping shit up, whatever, doing their investigation. Then they let us, you know, one block, then whoever's in that group, because just all it is, the group that was involved is going to be on the yard, and you go back, and then 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, a block at a time, right? It's basically a secured yard recall, right? And I remember I was in 3 building at the time. And so when they called my building, the pieces were still on the ground because it's a crime scene. So they're taking pictures of everything. The shooters were still handcuffed on the ground. The only one gone was the victim, right? And I remember walking by and I looked, and I remember how mad I was to see those weren't the knives that were supposed to be used. But again, I'm thankful now that they weren't, because them two, I tip my hat to them. They were not playing at all. But I just wanted to tell this story, man, because I'm trying to give you guys glimpses into the brutality, you know. Like on my other channel, when I do reaction videos, and we have guys like Wes Watson that tell stories that are so outlandish, and I always say, prison is bad enough to where we don't have to lie. I will never tell stories where I go into the politics, where I name names and I can't do those things. But I will do videos that I hope will lead the youth into understanding that prison is not a place to go hang out, get high, and get tattoos. It is not a place for fun. It's full of misery, bitterness, hate, anger. There's not a positive feeling or thought. You know, and if you notice, I've been doing a little bit more of these, and it's because I'm seeing in the comments people saying they want to show these videos to the youth. I'm seeing people saying that they work with the youth and they show them these videos and it helps them. So for that, I'm willing to do these occasionally. I don't plan on doing another one tomorrow, I'll tell you that. And there will be some changes coming in the next weeks and months. And hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it. But anyways, that's my video for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.